Hey, what's up? I'm God, this is 7 Mortal Sins. Welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a build guide / character review for Belial. She is an amazing character, one of my favorites, personally, at least for usage. Her personality, mid at best, but she got a pretty face. So let's go ahead and jump into her kit. We'll go over that together, and hopefully you guys can see why she's just so good. We're gonna do it alpha, my Belial. Alright, so I'm gonna start with the passive skill, because it explains a lot of some of the other things her kit does, like her S1, S2, S3. So let's go in here. So this is Usurper of the Star. This is one of her primary mechanics. It essentially buffs her crit rate every time she takes an action, right? So you can see it says, before the turn, grants the caster Malefics, which is crit rate plus 15%, stacks up to 7 times, and lasts for the entire battle. That's a lot of crit rate, right? So Seize the Star, when the battle starts, grants the caster Seize the Star. When taking damage, restores the caster's max HP by 35%. It lasts for 4 turns. So this makes her just stupidly tanky, right? It does not trigger on multi-hit attacks. It'll only trigger on the first hit of a multi-hit. But since heals can crit in this game, she's usually just back up at max HP after she gets hit. It's insane. So like, just those two abilities right there make her a DPS and a tank. Whoop. A little too far down there. Okay, so Melting Ice. This is one thing that makes her really good team support. Essentially, if she's frozen, she's going to remove freeze from all allies. This basically makes your team immune to freeze. Alright, and Vainglory, when the battle starts, increases strength type allies' max HP by 30%. This includes herself. So, like, if you look over here, you see how I have 55,000 HP? Yeah, that I get a 30% boost to that on battle start. And all the reds on my team do as well. Like if I'm running her with Choco Astaroth or Furka, like they're getting that HP buff as well. And that's like the primary, like the basics of her kit. Beefy, tanky, thick, juicy, meaty, crit. It's good stuff. Alright, so let's go on to her ult, or her special move. Alright, so this one is a little insane because its damage against normal enemies, like enemies that aren't affected by elite, deals damage based off of the target's HP. So it does 220 attack, gives your entire team a shield, and then deals 35% of the target's max HP as extra damage on top of this 220. And this ability right here makes her really good in guild raid bosses. So this is the Void Slash effect, which gives your entire team 100% extra crit rate. You can see it right down here. So only works against elites. Void Slash, crit damage plus 100%, lasts the entire battle, right? So you can see mine has a skill down of 2. I think at base that's like 5, 4, if I'm reading that right. So still not too bad. Like 4 turns of Belial in guild raid, that's like basically nothing, and then you get 100% extra crit damage on top of like everything that was in her passive skill. Big PP damage. Alright, so now her power attack. This is another move that makes her kind of also a support, because it debuffs enemy speed, and it'll freeze any tech type enemies. So it deals 96% attack as damage 4 times, and then inflicts Ice Spike, and grants all allies the teardown effect, and after the action, inflicts freeze on tech type enemies. With the highest move gauge, so Ice Spike is speed minus 5%, stacks up to 5 times. That's a lot of speed debuffing. Right, and then she freezes, and then Teardown is another crit damage boost. She boosts the entire team with her passive skill and with her skill too, right? So that's 225% bonus crit damage. I mean, this one's only for 3 turns, but still, this is good stuff. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah. Okay. And the Ice Spike is actually important for her basic attack. So after you use your power attack, you use your basic attack, and if the target is affected by Ice Spike, grants Belial 2 stacks of Malefics, and if you remember, that's the effect that increases her crit rate by 15% each stack. So every time she takes an action, before the action she gets a stack. Right, so you go power attack, you get 15% crit rate. You go basic attack, she gets the 15% from her passive, and then 30 from Malefic's Pierce. Right, so that's crazy, and it hits up to 2 times. She can pursue enemies, so she's a multi-hit monster, right? Both her basic attack and her power attack hit multiple times, and if you have her at higher skill levels, she also has massive AoE on everything. So she's not only hitting multiple times, she's hitting multiple targets as well. Okay, and then this also has something about removing defense buffs on enemies. It's alright. Works. Let's see. Oh, and since she likes to buff her own crit rate, when she lands a crit, deals extra damage, basically. I think this might be her follow-up attack right here, her pursuit. But yeah. So she buffs your team, she heals herself, she buffs herself, like, she's just an all-rounder. She does, like, everything, pretty much. That's why she's so good, right? You can pretty much just slap her on a team, right? Slap her on there with the might of Zeus, call it good, like flex tape. But yeah, like, she does have some teammates that she might want around, but for the most part, she is just a very flexible all-rounder. And then, like, if you want to build her and you're wondering what equipment you should give her, there's 2 ways that I recommend building her. The first would be the way that I have her built, and I have her on a 4-piece Nightshade and 2-piece Slayer. So extra speed, extra crit damage. I think my 4 and 6 are attack percent. Just because if you over load yourself on crit damage without giving yourself enough attack, it's overall lower DPS, right? You want to have like a good balance, probably more towards attack, just because your crit damage is scaling off your attack, and if you have low attack and high crit damage, it's, you know, it might balance out, but with crit rates, like, your crit damage is a gamble, typically, except for Belial, because she always crits. So that's why I run a good mix of speed, attack, and crit damage. The other way you could also go is with a 4-piece chaos, right? And then maybe put crit damage in either your slot 4 or your slot 6. Just to balance things out, right? You want to have, like I said, a good balance between attack and crit damage. You don't really need a whole lot of crit rate investment because she boosts her own crit rate. And that's why I would not recommend using Hawkeye. So, yeah, just pick a combination of those two, and that's what I would do. The Chaos version of Belial is a little bit better for guild raids, where she doesn't have to worry too much about trying to keep up. Like in PvP, it's very speed oriented. Speed and CC is really big, and that's actually one of Belial's weaknesses, is being CC'd, because then her healing ability on her passive doesn't trigger if she's like stunned or dazed or petrified, anything like that, and she won't be able to heal herself. But I'll get around to a fix to that once we get into the teammate sections. Let me finish up with the star shards real quick, and then we'll talk about some potential teammates. So the Nightshade set is a little bit more suited towards PvP. So you can see that I have 2300 speed, and for me that's not even enough. Like I pair her up with Leviathan and Sariel to give her even more speed, because, you know, the more actions she takes, the more crit rate she's giving herself, and crit rate equals damage, speed equals damage, because the more you attack, the more times you get to hit, the more hits you do, the more damage you do. So personally, that's why I run her on speed. But if you have a good speed booster, you know, somebody like Raphael, the speed version of Raphael. Let me see if I can find her real quick. Did I pass her? I have too many characters. They all start blending together. But if you see her, you know who I'm talking about. She basically makes your team go burr in terms of speed. She might actually be down. Yep, there she is. Her. Yeah, so her S2, from what I understand, haven't actually taken the time to really deep dive into her kit, but she makes your team go faster. If you're running someone like Furka, she can help Belial out too, and Furka also gets the benefit of being a red or a strength type enemy, or ally, so she'll also turn out bulkier. Right. And then other teammates I would recommend would be Metatron. Metatron is going to help her with her weakness to crowd control. And if you're running her on Chaos, Belial on Chaos that is, not Metatron, running Belial on Chaos, Metatron makes a really good teammate for her, because Metatron has the ability to block crowd control for up to 2 of your highest strength allies on your team. Mine will only block 1 instance of crowd control, for one character because she's only +1, but at higher skill levels, she gets the ability to safeguard, essentially, 2 of your teammates from crowd control. Sorry, thirsty. And then also, if you want to run her with another attack booster, somebody like, let's say, Summer Leviathan, who just has a passive attack boost, right? That's even more damage for your Belial. So that would be really good. She doesn't really need a healer on her team per se, but like I said, Metatron is there to block CC. If Belial dies, Metatron can revive her because she's got a revive in her kit. Other good teammates, you know, Sariel, Leviathan, OG Leviathan, like I typically like to run, are great for boosting Belial's speed. She can also be run with, you know, crowd control characters like Winter Lucy, or actually don't have a whole lot of crowd control characters. Michael, right? So Belial's not necessarily just there to be supported by a team. You can build a team around her, but she's such a good all-rounder. She has so many different teammates, so many different team compositions that you can run with her, and that's why she's so good. Just that versatility. She does so much. She fits so well into so many different teams that it's kind of hard to find another character like this. Like, she can slot into anything, really. And that's why Belial's good. So I'm thinking about doing a guide on Raphael, because she's on banner right now. Let me know if you guys want to see that. I don't really know a whole lot about her. You can see she's essentially unbuilt on my account, so I'd have to do some research and some theory crafting, see what I can come up with. But if that's something you're interested in, I got some time. Probably tomorrow can have a video out on that. So yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you later.